going crazy.
Long overdue, but now feel me slamming.
So I feel like it was appropriate because I feel like we damn near like a boy band up here right now. Like, you know,
FNIF.
Whoa!
Who's getting finesse?
Wow.
You want the finesse show?
Yo, that sounds like a real Phillionaire's in the building.
Claude Kelly's in the building.
Chuck Harmony is in the building.
Bacon from Macon is in the building. What's up? What's up?
Man, we're gonna talk some stuff today with this brother Jonathan McReynolds.
Some trash.
Some stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's a Stellar Award winner, a Grammy Award winner. He's here to talk about his new album, My Truth, coming off the #1 single, Your World. He's an actor. He's an author. And Steph Curry think he's all right basketball player. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Jonathan McReynolds is in the building.
It's about time we got you here, to be honest with you.
It's about time.
I appreciate the graham crackers. That was the first thing I noticed.
Graham crackers are key to a proper conversation.
I love that.
Snack away. All right, but listen, so first of all,
right, look at me. We got a bowl of graham crackers.
Do your thing.
I mean, you went straight forward. We just got here.
We just getting warmed up. Hey, it happens. But first of all, what brings you to Nashville, my friend?
I'm hanging out with y'all.
I mean,
I had a few other things going on. We're doing press. We're promoting this album. I did something for TBN. You know, their Easter celebration is coming up.
Okay.
But so you know how it goes when you promote an album. You got to hit every city.
Yeah. Do you like that part? Do you like the promo part?
It's taxing, but you know what? This time I do like it because you got to think, man. The last record I put out was in the pandemic, so we didn't do a promo tour. So the last,
That's true.
Promo tour I did was back in 2018 with Make Room, and my life and just the way people show love is just so different now. Like it's, I've glory to God. Succeeded a little bit, and my audience has gotten bigger, and so coming out now is just different. It's just, we're not begging for nothing. Everybody wants to talk to us. There's a lot of love being poured out and a lot of testimonies, and so this is my first time that I really get to kind of feel it. First time I was here, I was so scared.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. First time you was at the studio, you were scared?
Yeah, I was scared of everything. I'm still a little bit scared, but
you didn't exude that.
Nah.
People always say that, but you know how you go into like a church or a house or something that you were in when you were younger, and you remember it being huge, and then when you get there again, it's like, it's a church.
It's a church.
Yeah.
4 walls.
That's kind of how I feel about a lot of things. Yeah. So
there's definitely that in climbing the ladder in the music industry. Yeah. There's a lot of Wizard of Oz.
It's climbing. It's
a lot of realizing just a little small man behind the curtain. It wasn't really the magic you thought it was.
Well, no, it's not even about losing magic. It's just about getting older.
Yeah,
I mean, when I was here, I was probably 24 or something.
Probably.
Yeah, man.
If that, 20. I don't know, but I was pretty young and much younger, and so just the differences between me or any man at 24 versus 33 is. It's like, wait a minute.
You see everything. You see everything differently now.
Yeah, man.
Did they offer you Hennessy when you were here?
They did not. They were very, very clean. I'm amazed.
Yeah. We're gentlemen.
Are you suggesting that we would offer a gospel artist Hennessy?
I'm just saying. I've seen it happen before. I've seen gospel people drink at the studio. So
this is true.
Wow. But the song they're talking about, this one right here, "The Way That You Love Me," right? That's the one y'all worked on.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The way that you love me, the way that you love me is everything I need. Don't never let me go.
The Way That You Love Me from our special guest this week, Jonathan McReynolds, produced by Chuck Harmony and Claude Kelly. Come on, man, y'all.
A record.
A record. I haven't heard that for a minute.
I know.
You know what's crazy? And I just saw him a couple days ago. We were just on the phone talking. I feel very honored to say that I could just talk to Stevie Wonder.
Wow.
The first song that he ever heard and talked about was that song. and he played that song. It wasn't a single. It wasn't a radio single or anything.
Yeah.
But he still wanted to play it on, KJLH out there in LA. So that was the first song. So thank y'all for putting me on the Stevie map.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Y'all helped Stevie see me.
That's like the biggest.
That's crazy.
What are you
That's such a big compliment.
This ain't shit for that. Like, you helped Stevie see me. Like that.
Man.
I caught that. See, I know this guy.
Subtle shade. It's a subtle shade.
So, because I go back with Jonathan, y'all, this is such a full circle moment for me because when I was a manager for years, TV producer, and when I first started on the record label side, I was working for this label called E1. E1 Music is called something different today. But when I came in, I was the VP of marketing. And Jonathan was the very first artist that I worked with. I was like 2 weeks on the job.
That's crazy.
And it wasn't a lot of money in the budget. I remember that. But I remember just saying like, okay, damn, we ain't got this much money, but we don't need to let that limit us. I remember getting on that first call with John and just hearing his vision and just what he wanted to accomplish. And I remember saying, who is your dream collaboration? And you said John Mayer and India Ari. And I said, yeah, we're going to make it happen. And you basically told me I was full of it. And like, yeah, seems like a nice guy, but yeah, man, okay, cool, yeah, sure, yeah, we'll make that happen. And but we made the India connection happen months later on Celebration of Gospel, and so I'm just so proud to see what started over 10 years ago now to being this award-winning musician, producer, his own label, actor, touring the world, and it's just like, man, I'm really proud of you. So I just wanted to celebrate you and just say, I still think you're a jerk, but I'm really proud of you.
No, hold on. Has the John Mayer thing happened yet?
No, it hasn't. Phil did not accomplish that.
He said you failed.
John Mayer's my favorite
He got a
artist.
50%.
He's my favorite artist.
Yeah,
Mine too.
I would love that collaboration.
Oh no, yeah, that would be enough.
It's only a matter of time.
But I've been blessed. Like I have been able to, and I'll do a complete God, thank you for Phil speech later. But in general, I have gotten to meet, work with, get good words from almost everybody that I looked up to. And I mean a wide range of people. I mean, you got Stevie, of course, India, of course, but like people like Music Soul Child, people that I was listening to and loving before I thought that I would ever do this.
Right. Yeah.
People I just had on repeat, Rascal Flatts. And,
crazy voice.
Common. Just everybody that, like, I didn't know I was going to do this. I'm a nerd, okay? I expected very nerdy things out of my life, okay? So the music that I was, putting into the pot, I wasn't putting it in there to cook it up into anything. I was just, throwing it in there because I didn't know what else to do with it. Yeah. So to see all those people respond, Jay Moss, everybody, see those people respond to what I'm doing and get to meet them, man, that's probably one of my biggest, like, wow moments.
If you had to pinpoint a quality about yourself that speaks to why people gravitate to you and your music, what quality would that be?
I guess it's honest in a way. It's honest in a way, and but not like everybody else is lying. Not like that, but just like I feel like it's just very me, and it's very like I'm not trying, like I was trying to accomplish the way that you love me. So it was uncomfortable for me back then, because back then I never even tried to accomplish anything else but whatever kind of naturally came out of my mouth. You guys stretched me and pulled me. I was like, oh snap, I don't think I could do this. I was scared. That's another reason. That's another reason why I was just like, man, like I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Shout out to Flip who hooked us up, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And Flip's thing was like, your heart is amazing. The music, the heart music is amazing. The pressure, the limps, the cycles, the no grays, all that's good. But let's make some arms. And so one of the arms was working with you guys. Wow. One of the ways to stretch and reach other people so that I could even get people to my heart. And so it's just been, I think I've always put out heart music. And since I learned from you and Flip and Phil to also create some arm music too. I think I've now been able to put my heart, my blood at least, into those arms. So stuff where I know I'm stretching, I know I'm, trying to get another genre, see if I can pull that, and it's now becoming even more authentic because it's a part of me now.
Yeah, it's so amazing you say that about your heart, because I remember discovering your very first EP, the very unofficial EP in 2010.
Yikes, burn it.
No, that's
a collector's item. What are you talking about?
Like, it's still on my phone now.
Really? That's crazy.
And I remember hearing, what was the song, Loving Me, for the first time. And I'm like, yes, somebody, because your music has always been biblically sound, but at the same time, you were, like you said, authentic. You were super real about who you were, who you are, and what you're going through. And I just felt like, as from hearing a black man sing those lyrics on a song, I'm like, yes, somebody finally, I felt like I was being seen through those records. And then to hear that you graduated over to E1 and you started putting out, you've been consistently consistent.
Thank
over
you,
the
man.
decade plus.
Don't make me cry, man. I'm a little sleepy.
No, I'm like, this is coming from a genuine
emotion.
place, because like I was telling Walter earlier, like your melodies, your approach to writing, just everything that you've done, like you're literally one of the greatest artists that have come out in the last 10 plus years.
I agree with that.
Thank you.
Like you are a breath of fresh air every time.
Across,
you come out with a record.
I would say that I agree with that across all genres.
Yes.
Thank you.
I feel like there's like probably there's a handful that really, if you feel like, okay, this is number one here to stay, but also something that's like a breath of fresh air. I would definitely say that amongst several artists that we've all discovered, that the world has discovered, you're the group of artists that are just telling the truth your way. That's unique. And it's interesting because if you grow up black and you grow up in the church, then it's not as scary to you. But what I understand about gospel from the outside looking in is that it's amazing, but it's also intimidating. Like, and almost borderline, dare I say, almost pretentious, because it's
Gospel?
like, it's just like you're it's literally your full range, your full emotion, it's physical, the whole thing is big. And vocally, you can do anything anyone can do, right? But there's something that's not pretentious about your art, which makes it actually attainable to everyone who loves gospel music for all that has to offer as a style. But then everyone outside gets to pay attention because it doesn't feel off-putting, because it's so showy that they can't understand it literally on a plate. Which is why when you said John Mayer, it piqued me, because you're like the John Mayer of your genre. Like, he stands alone as a singer-songwriter that he plays around with sound and genres, but at the end it's just truth songwriting.
Yeah.
From his perspective, totally different. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes you a breath of fresh air, because it defies what you expect gospel to be.
Man, y'all, I appreciate that.
We sound crazy.
What do you think is the current state of gospel in your opinion? What's the state of gospel music? How you feeling?
I think artistically it's good. I think it's all right. It's just in a little bit of an identity crisis, but, that probably happens every generation, where it's like, we were enjoying what we had, but what we had kind of burned down. It happened in the Bible, We had an amazing Solomon's temple. So, somebody raided it, burned it down, scattered all the Israelites, and then when they came back together again, they started building another temple that wasn't as big and wasn't as grand. So some people were like, yeah, we got a new temple, and other people were like, but it's not as big as the other one.
Interesting.
And that's, and
well
so
put.
yeah, and so they said even from afar, you just heard noise and you couldn't tell if it was joy or sorrow.
Wow.
Because of just people reacting, some people with jubilation and some people with lamentation about this new temple. But either way, that's the temple that Jesus showed up in and started teaching it. So however grand the other one was, if Jesus is showing up in this one, it's just as good.
Yeah, I love that.
And so, I like it. There's a lot of things I feel like gospel has some great in it. I think that it is flooded a little bit by mediocre sometimes. And I wish, like in other genres, there was a little bit of separation sometimes.
It's in every genre.
Well,
It's all, it's
but even just like, sure. But I guess from the outside looking in, it seems like other genres have a little bit more of a stranglehold. Maybe if you just listen to top 40 radio, it's top 40. You know what I'm saying? You don't get a number one 02 slid in there, you know? And so sometimes I do wish, and I can't be too mad because there was a day when if they weren't playing a 102, I wouldn't have gotten hurt. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of on both sides. Like, man, but I do wish there was a little bit of quality control sometimes in gospel. But I think that we're working on. I guess I'm really waiting on the young people to make their mark. I'm tired of hearing old people make the young mark. I want young people to make the young mark. You're old now. Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And I mean, I'm the youngest of the old.
There you go.
Or the oldest of the young. I can't tell. You know what I'm saying? But either way, you know, I'm still looking for it. Even, you know, I have the label now, and Doe has done incredible. I'm excited, man. She's got 3 Grammy nominations this past February, and she's amazing.
I don't always know what to say, but all I know is something happens when I pray.
And so I'm looking for this next person, and I want them to be as special, but I'm waiting on authentic, I'm waiting on honest, I'm waiting on relevant without trying to be relevant.
Yeah.
That's the only
key.
problem is that, you know,
That's the key.
That's the key.
And it's hard to find, especially because it's hard to find, especially online. Because there's like a way to present yourself online that also eliminates a lot of the authenticity of, you know, what an artist can be. But listen, you've done it before. You'll find that person. Someone's gonna watch us and be like, "Yo, this is my shot."
This is my shot.
Follow us here at We Sound Crazy for a sweepstakes to figure out who signs to Jonathan.
Yeah, email him.
This is your world. I'm just living in it.
Your world.
I love that.
So now when I hear your music, in my mind, it sounds like you understand commercial music really well. Like you understand how to make, dare I say, a hit.
Yeah, you do.
Really?
Yes.
Is that a fair assessment? Like, do you know what you're doing? Like, yo, I'm making this. Like, you could be artistic.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what y'all taught me over time. Like that's the difference between a heart song and an arm song. Is the arms was the way that you love me. It was Gotta Have You. It was the things that grab people whether they care about me at all. And then the heart stuff was, you know, now that I have your attention, here you go. You know what I'm saying? But now trying to make that all the same song, that's the fun. That's the craft of.
That's the best part of songwriting.
Yeah, it's trying to infuse the catchy,
with the heart.
The what do they call it? Eatable. What's the word? Edible. Hello. Edible with the with the actual good substantial meal. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever you got to do to make the steak. You know, cut it up in little pieces for everybody to eat, whatever it takes. Yeah. And so, no, it's fun, man.
That's something me and Chuck call deep fried veggies.
Okay.
So it's literally like you give it to them fried because everyone likes fried food. But they don't what they're actually eating is something that's nutritious.
They don't know.
They don't know it's actually broccoli.
And you know what? That was probably one of the biggest, like, wow, I think I've been successful moments in this past promo tour is the way people consume my music is different. When we first started, you got to understand the black church, gospel, it's all built on like sensation. It's all built on volume changes. Oh, snap. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there are moments that us church kids, we know to stand up even if we're not paying attention. Like we can just, it's like a sixth sense that we just stand up. Yeah, I think it's time, you know, and we just know how to do it. And so that means that gospel listeners were very passive.
I agree.
They weren't listening to words that hard. They were listening to feeling. They were listening to the overall aura of the song. They were listening to the strong singing. They were listening to they were listening to all that. Yeah. And the words were like, oh, I mean, we'll get those later. Yeah. Maybe after the 20th listen. Now people sit down and listen to my music right away for the words. No matter how fast it is, no matter how hitty it is, I'm watching people, listening to people like lock into lyrics. Yeah. Even that song, Your World, I sang that on the Kingdom tour, and I heard people, when I said, lilies ain't worried about it, the birds ain't chirping about it, I hear people say, you know what I'm saying? Moving on. It's like, I'm moving, whatever the words are that I wrote. You know, like people are stopping to listen and listening actively. They download the album and say, I'm going to listen to My Truth when I have time.
Yeah. That's good.
And I
great.
love that.
That's great.
That's so
Yeah.
true.
Let's talk about My Truth, though. This album you recorded while you were actually on tour with Kirk
Yeah,
and
we
Matt.
did. I did a lot of the vocals. Yeah, in my RV. I would go from the stage literally back to my RV
Yeah, I saw that
and
online.
record it. Yeah.
That's
cool.
dope.
That's cool.
You have on the record. I love the record, by the way. Detail is perfect album opener.
Detail, that's the one.
But you collaborated with the Marvin Winans on this record.
There's only one, I think.
How did? And I remember seeing a video of you two singing together maybe a few years back, and I'm like, that'd be so dope if they did an actual record together. So I'm glad that we finally have that. How did that come about? Just talk a little bit about just the record. And
So I wrote that song with Major. So what I was trying to do initially was I knew I had some weird songs, and on this album it was Overrated. Song called Overrated, Strong is Overrated. And so I was like, what about if I tried to pair each song with more of a regular church worship or praise song? And so I was with Major, and I was like, I played the song, and I was like, all right, now where do you immediately want to go to after this? And he was like, I don't know if you know Major out there, but you know, he's a very
No Major.
eccentric, dramatic guy.
To say the least.
Well said.
And so that's my boy though. But so we started writing that song together. Eventually I finished it at some point. And I was actually gonna ask Kalante Gavin to sing it with me. And so, you know, shout out to Kalante, one of the greatest vocalists we got out there. He's just a monster. But after the Detroit show and for the Kingdom tour, they were like, you know, Bishop Marvin, he came to see you. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's always been showing me love. He's always shown mad respect. The video that you saw, you know, he's always been there. He's always championed my work. And so I went back there and I was like, hey, what's going on? He was like, I'm good. I just came to see you. I was like, oh, that's what's up. So he didn't need to see Kirk and Math. But anyway, but no, he came to see me, and I was like, okay. He's like, so what are you doing now? I was like, oh, well, I just go back to the RV and I record a song. I got a song for you if you want it. He was like, okay, sure.
wow.
It was just like that. It was really just like that.
That's crazy.
And
That's awesome.
He got on the. You saw the video of him on my RV. He got his suit and tie. Only person in suit and tie on the entire Maverick City tour. That's just not how we rock no more. But he's sweating and killing. I mean, his wife is there sitting, and it was just an amazing. Like, really, this is happening that easily? There's got to be a catch somewhere. Song is out now, so
What goes
no
to your-
catches. have shown.
what goes to your mind when you have people like Pastor Marvin Winans, Stevie Wonder, like all these goats,
Yeah.
like appreciating what you do? Like what goes through the mind of Jonathan McReynolds when you get that love?
I mean, maybe one day, you know, somebody will look at me like that, and maybe one day I can be this generation's Marvin, you know, and that'd be awesome. The idea that the way I've listened to them, the way I get lost in a John Mayer song, somebody might be doing that with mine. Yeah. That's just amazing. And then when you actually get to know these guys, I was just telling my friend yesterday or the day before, they're just artists.
Yeah.
I know that they're super successful.
Trying to figure it out.
And everybody's scared of them and they're intimidating because they are who they are. But like at the end of the day, they're like me, Chuck and Claude.
Yeah.
No matter how successful you get, we're still just as flaky, as as weird, as moody, as everything that any artist is gonna be. They just happen to be super successful, and so the fact that they can give respect to other artists is simply because they are still artists, and they only see themselves as artists,
right.
Yeah.
not kings of the world, but just straight up artists. And it's just been an awesome thing. I told Bishop to do something in one of the videos, and some of the comments were like, who do you think you are telling Bishop to do something? And I mean, but he was with it because at the end of the day, he just wants to make good art.
Yeah.
It ain't about ego anymore. It ain't about, I'm big and you're little. I trust you to make this song good. And so tell me what I should do right here. And that's
so
just
cool.
beautiful. I mean, if anything, it should teach you that you're never too big for this.
Yeah, that's true.
Able, you're more than able. Ain't no problem.
That Abel goes hard. That's our from our special guest this week, Jonathan McReynolds, featuring the great Marvin Winans.
Yeah,
great.
man.
He sounds so good on that. Y'all sound good together.
Thank you, man.
I
Yeah,
love
he
that.
killed it.
We sound crazy.
I'm interested in knowing, we talked about your songwriting earlier. As a kid, like little Jonathan McReynolds.
Little Jonathan.
Who are some of the artists, the songwriters that you pulled from to kind of create how you approach your music today?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wasn't really soaking up anybody, not on purpose at least.
Yeah.
And I'm from like the LimeWire Bear Share
Oh, yeah.
generation, so I didn't even always have albums.
Okay.
I don't even know when some of this stuff came out. I don't know if it was first or last, so if y'all start asking me what albums I could probably tell you a few, but like a lot of the stuff I was just piecemealing. I don't know what was a single. I don't know what was popular, and so growing up, I think, first of all, of course, I had the church world, all those songs. I wasn't even aware of there being a gospel industry. These were just songs that the choir sang, and I had to learn. Of course, some of the Chicago cats like Percy Beatty and Percy Gray and, a lot of people from Chicago. But I think for me, my musical renaissance period, y'all about to judge me, was like the millennium boy band pop. TRL, Carson Daly mode,
you know what
I'm saying? And so, like, that was when I was like, this is, I don't care who you are.
But that's
when I was getting it. I was like, oh, snap.
You were really studying Max Martin.
Which
is like pop perfection.
Perfection.
And so then you put that with the fact that, I'm with my white uncle and we're doing road trips to Disneyland from Chicago and we're listening to Bad Leroy Brown or Lone Star and we're listening to all how country people, how they create stories. Yeah. And then I go back to high school and I'm listening to Common and Kweli. I'm listening to I Used to Love Her. I'm watching how he creates tension throughout the whole song, and then the very end he says, cycles over. You know what I'm saying? And to the point that even Common was like, you write like an MC. And it's like, that's all that stuff that I wasn't really trying to gather information to become an artist, but it was getting in there some kind of way. I go see Hamilton one time and it soaks in there. So sometimes it's not me studying as much as just stuff sticking.
Yeah,
and truly affecting the way I move and write.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Well, I know we not at Keep or Kill, but I got to ask you, Backstreet or NSYNC, since you're a product of the TR.
That's tough because you gotta admit, it's almost like it's like an MJ LeBron type thing. Okay. Where who is greater and who is best. Okay.
Wait a minute. Who was greater and who was
LeBron
best?
is technically okay. I mean, he has all the assists, the rebounds, the points, everything. He's the best. Fine. But the greatest, the highest peaks to me was MJ. And you can't really argue with that.
Yeah. You can't argue
so
that.
to me, my MJ is Backstreet Boys.
Agreed.
Okay.
And NSYNC is my LeBron. Because they could do everything. Okay. They could give you the ballads. They could also dance. Justin Timberlake is the man. But greatest to me is there was just a certain pocket that Backstreet Boys had. It was just like a dance.
Yep. That's why I rock with Jonathan McReynolds.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to say Backstreet Boys.
Yes.
Speaking of greatest, Steph Curry said that you were the greatest. What's the quote? I want to get
He
it
said
right.
I'm the greatest gospel hooper of all time.
That's from Steph Curry.
That's what he said.
From the Steph
NBA
Curry.
great.
Now, I always said that I had the best jumper in gospel music, but he took it a step farther.
He elevated it.
Yeah. And so I'm retired.
You retired?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's really the highest.
How you gonna retire after you get the title?
What else am I working for? All you work for is pride and joy.
That's as
And
much
if
you
the
got.
greatest shooter
I'm
in
good.
the world. Now, if LeBron or somebody comes back and calls Jermaine Dolly or something the best,
You have to
then
come
now
and
I
defend
can
your
come
title.
back.
About to retire.
But right now,
You're chilling.
well, good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
As long as you stay ret, because You don't get caught out there and you're not ready for the challenge.
I'm definitely retired.
But I'm saying I don't have to. Yeah,
you're retired.
I wasn't gonna call it out, but
You're retired for sure.
I'm retired. No more basketball for your boy.
yeah, but no, I just enjoy playing basketball just
Me
for my
too.
own sanity and stuff like that. I'm not trying to beat anybody. It just became a thing.
He said, I can't help that I'm great.
No, I mean, I can't help that I guess I could have helped it, but I just was posting stuff, things of me shooting. I just enjoy it. Like it really, when I moved out to LA, especially the second place that I moved to, I was able to put a hoop in the back. So now it just really does something for me. It connects me to the boy that didn't know he was going to have to deal with all this artist celebrity mess. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, when I go hoop, hopefully, I hate when somebody says, "Oh, you're Jonathan," because I'm like, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Do that on my way out. Because now I'm nervous and I got to perform for you. I like it at the end when it's like, you know what? You could actually play, man. That's what I'm. Yeah, but no, that's my thing, man. Shout out to Steph and all his wonderful supporting words.
I gotta ask you though, because you've been in the business over 10 years at this point. What would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned to date in the music industry?
I mean, there's a lot of lessons, man. There's a lot of lessons. Beware of people from Virginia.
Wow. This is an end of interview. We're gonna cut. So this is, y'all gotta know, we do this back and forth. You'll notice the digs all episode.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it.
What you got? You got them written down, prepared?
I'm both phones.
I'm coming off the dome, man. I'm freestyling this thing. You know what? I'll say that the lesson that I am now dealing with the fact that I didn't learn was just to have a good rest pattern. I definitely put the gas on and I never stopped. There was no finish line. I never created an actual goal to attain. So then when I actually accomplished things that anybody else would be like, come on, let's throw a party, it didn't feel like I had actually won.
Right.
Or finished or gotten to any goal. You know what I'm saying? It was like, my friends.
We can relate.
Yeah, man.
To that.
Yeah, man. My friends made me throw a Grammy party when my actual first reaction was, I need to get back to work.
That's me.
That's us.
Yeah, and so not having a finish line this whole time, first of all, you don't rest, and you don't even get the endorphins from accomplishing something. Like there's no celebration in anywhere in your soul.
No.
It's celebration all around you, but not here. And so, if anything, create some goals, like write them down, so that when you actually accomplish them, they feel more like touchdowns instead of first downs. And then rest. Rest. Because not even rest like for months at a time, unless that's necessary, but just have a schedule of rest. It's stupid that a gospel artist, somebody who proclaims this whole God Bible thing, forgets like one of the first commandments, which was keep the Sabbath, keep it holy. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't just for you to be able to call yourself Christian, or a believer. That was a rhythm of work and rest that God created for everybody to work in. I bet you God's saying, I bet you I could do for you in 6 days what everybody else is going to do in 7. And so just being able to stop and rest, that's something I never did because I didn't know what I was doing, didn't know where I was going, and I didn't know how good I was going to be, didn't know how long it was going to go. I was always surviving when I was really thriving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I relate to all
Man,
this.
you speaking that language, for real.
Yeah, this is definitely...
Because I think just so often it's just black men in this industry, we're always fighting that much harder and having to go that much. So it's just, to me, it's just the balance of how to make sure I'm protecting my mental health and my sanity, and just because you'll be chasing it and be like, okay, I'm getting these awards and these accolades, but to John's point, like you don't take a moment to just say, yo, this happened.
Yeah.
Because there was always something else happening. Because normally in the industry, success is like monkey bars. And so normally getting one allows you to swing to another. And so there is no point you just hang there and say, woo! You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always like, all right, I'm just trying to keep some momentum to get the next one. It feels weird to stop. But everything I'm working on right now, even in my brain, my therapy, conversations, everything, I'm trying to work on a book even. It's all about making sure that as I'm climbing this mountain, it gets scarcer and more scarce as you move up, that I always know my way back down to the valley. The beautiful, lush, green valley where all the people are, all the normalcy is, and not to feel like I'm losing progress by stopping
and enjoying that.
To enjoy the valley.
Yeah, man.
You know?
So good.
That's so real talk.
Yes.
I need to learn that lesson.
That's so good.
Yeah,
That's
man.
so good.
Just well put.
Very well put.
Phil, I don't think I've ever blessed you like this before.
No, you have. I mean, literally. I mean, this is actually. I'm glad I saw you there because in all the years I've known him, I've never got anything good out of him.
Finally, something profound.
Something. Finally.
We sound crazy.
I'm gonna break this. I'm not I'm gonna break these.
So profound, man.
Cycles, man.
So good.
That's my favorite.
Featuring Doe.
Yeah.
Actually, Doe is signed to your label.
Absolutely, man. It's crazy. Full circle.
Full circle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you want to start a label? I'm just curious. Like, all the things you could have done, you've done a lot, but why a label? I mean...
For one, I don't think that gospel music, and I don't know if other music has had, I don't know. So when I say gospel music, I'm not saying exclusively because I just don't really know about other genres that hard. But we don't have a great track record of artists kind of in or near their prime helping the next, like making more happen. Like, you know, we tend to use all of our energy to make our stuff happen. And, you know, sometimes I look back at my own career and I just wonder, what if Kirk or what if somebody had just been like, I see you, bro, let's go. You know what I'm saying? How much easier would things have been, or quicker, or more painless? I don't know. And so I really, I feel good about making it more easy for this. First of all, I really value this approach to gospel music, this honest, good, bad, and ugly approach. You know, because have you ever watched like a Christian film, and it's like it doesn't feel good because they rush to the moral of the story.
Yeah.
They rush to the perfect part. They rush to the ideal part. They don't spend any time being human. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like in the second scene, we already know Jesus is going to take care of it. And so that's kind of how gospel music is to me sometimes. Is like we don't, and you never want to celebrate your own weakness. You never want to just get up there and talk about all the different drinks you drank and all the different drugs you smoked. But I do think that for our generation, it's valuable to think a little bit more and express a little bit more the humanity, the part of you that God actually redeems, as opposed to the mask that you put on until He redeems.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that side of music. So I want more people to do it. I don't necessarily want to be the only person. And so the fact that Life Music Stage 2, my second album, got 1 Grammy nomination. I didn't get my first single until Not Lucky I'm Loved, first number 1 single until Not Lucky I'm Loved, which was like my 3rd single or something like that. And it took a year and a half for it to get to number 1. That was my career. Doe got 3 Grammy nominations on her first album. And her first single was number 1. And then the second was number 1 as well. And so to me, I did it. I made it easier for somebody else to do it. And I just can't wait to do it more.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, I do want to talk about the executive that saw the vision in you, who really just said, you should start a label. I hear so much about him. And
I mean, Phil, you are a visionary. Let's keep it real.
So
you are a visionary.
This is a good time. It's a good time
to get to Phillionaire.
This is a good time to say, you know, what you do need throughout all of this is for people, saved or not, to be sent and orchestrated by God to champion what you're doing. And so at various points in my journey, I would have a Talisa Stinson, or I would have a Jerry Perry's, or I would have a Tamar, I would have a Snoopy.
Yeah, Snoopy.
You know, and then I definitely had a Phil, whose approach to kind of not caring too much about what other people say worked very well with an artist who people were saying, I don't think that's going to work. And so I thank God for you, Phil, because you absolutely had hope, more hope than I did. You saw more. First of all, you knew more. And so you knew what value I could present before I did. I don't know if I still know as much as you knew in 2015 or 16.
12.
Whatever it was.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you.
But like, you know, I appreciate it because yeah, man, you jacked up everything to make sure that I got a chance.
And I want to apologize for all the money I spent back then too.
Yeah, no, you jacked up budgets.
Yeah, definitely spent a lot of money. We did videos for every song. Like,
no, man, but that was important.
Yeah.
You know, maybe, and the thing is, because you did that, nobody should have to do it again in this lane. You got to understand, like, man, you spent all that money, or you know, E1 spent all that money, but I wrote all those songs. Everybody spent.
Of themselves.
Everybody feels like, I mean, there are songs from my first record that nobody's going to hear. Nobody even cares about, that were really good songs, that were bricks, that were not even in the house. They were in the basement. They were in the foundation. Nobody's even going to see those bricks. That was some of the work that you were doing. And now nobody's going to have to do it again. What? I missed it. What'd I do?
I don't know. He's gone over
Chuck,
there.
we having a real moment right here. Chuck cutting up over there.
Well, I'll say,
I missed it.
Hey, what's in the graham crackers?
You said bricks. That was funny to me.
I'll say I for one, as a fan, appreciate both of y'all because it's like you come. I said earlier about the EP, and it's like you coming from the EP, and you put out that the Life Music Project, and I'm like, yes, we need him on the world stage.
But please know that they were not. They were not. I actually have a letter that's printed out. In my, nobody was being messy.
Yeah.
But somebody sent it to me years after I had now, become one of the top selling artists on the label. Hey, this was an old email I found. And the email was literally between, two label heads, let's just say that, two label heads that were basically saying, and both of them, neither one of them are really around right now, but they were both saying,
that part.
well, one of them was like, I'm fighting for Jonathan's song to get some push on this radio, blah, blah, and the other one was like, yo, I don't know why you keep wearing us out about this dude. He's not valuable. This is not going to end well for our label if we do too much. And so that was the quiet undercurrent underneath it. And so even though I had, louder people like a Nakaya or a Tamar or a Kathy or a Snoopy or a Phil that were speaking to me directly and making me feel like I had hope, the undercurrent was, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not gospel format.
Yeah.
And honestly, it were those champions in the room, in the building, but also just straight up regular people that spoke up, that did YouTube covers, that made noise, and we got through that moment. I look back at old pictures and I'm like, I don't know how that dude made it at all. Like how did he not give up? Like how did he not?
So glad you
he was
didn't.
dumb. I mean, he just was ignorant. He was naive. He did not know.
He really didn't know. It was just, but it was refreshing. I got to be honest.
He didn't know what he was up against.
You would ask the questions. I mean, and we made the rounds. I remember taking you to KGLH for the first time, 106 in Park, like all of these outlets. But you were just so open to learning, which was like half the battle. You were like, okay, this is what I do, but what does this mean? How does this work? And so it was refreshing to really have an artist care so much. And a lot of it was just curiosity. And you had, Walter was there. Shout out to Walt. Like,
Shout out to Walt.
Yeah, like Walt was on the journey from the beginning, and it's just like, but I'm glad to see it all worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and I appreciate you, brother. Like I think there's like there's a place in your heart that you don't even want to completely open because you don't know how much emotion is in there.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about Phil and Walt. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard to like even say thank you because I feel like if I ever adequately said thank you, I'd be like, thank you. I just, you know what I'm saying? And I really feel like that's how he feels about me. Yeah. I really feel like he knows that he can't completely take off the leash
of emotion.
Because it will wear him out and he'll lose his cool. That's really how I feel.
Phil, take off the leash.
No, don't take it off.
Have I ever seen you cry, Phil?
We sound crazy.
I'll be moving on. I'm moving on.
That's a Grammy Award-winning collaboration right there with Jonathan McReynolds and Molly Music.
Hello.
That we literally strategized on that one too, John. Yeah. I was in another building at another label. Yeah. And I still found my way to work with him on that joint.
Which is why I know that if he ever took off the leash,
took the leash off.
that girl in kindergarten who just keeps kicking you.
Yeah, especially she really likes you.
Because that's all they can get out. They don't know how to say, I have a crush on you. I like you. You know what I'm saying? That's what Phil is. He just be kicking me.
I'm not no damn kindergarten girl.
You stop kicking, bro. Just stop kicking and just go ahead and say that you love me and you think that I'm valuable in this thing. And you always have, man. I just love you, bro. I really do.
So moving on. That's
so shady.
No, I was talking about the song. Moving on. He won a Grammy. I want to acknowledge that John won a Grammy on this collaboration. That was his idea. I just remember how excited I was when I heard the demo before even Molly was on it. When you heard the original version and just your vision behind it and wanting Molly on, what do you remember about winning that Grammy? Like, did you think you was gonna get it? Honestly,
I mean, I have a really bad. So y'all got to understand. Like, I lost a lot of. Well, I don't know if you say lost. I was nominated for a lot of awards that I didn't win. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I got 15 Stellas now, but I feel like there were 15 nominations before that I didn't win. There were 3 or 4 Grammy nominations, especially on Make Room, that I really thought was like I killed it. You know, that people loved it so much, and I didn't win any of those. So you never feel like you're gonna win them after that. Like it's always like a surprise. Like, really? Like, even if it was like, and the nominees are Jonathan McReynolds, Phil. I'm still like, I don't know, man. But I mean, like, you just never feel like you got anything. And there was another. I remember there being a few other songs on there. They had a whole bunch of heavy hitters. I'm like, I might not. This probably not gonna happen. It was pandemic. I went to Morocco. I was in Morocco and I had to zoom in. And then almost missed the ceremony because America had just had daylight savings time. Nobody in the world really does that except us. Mm-hmm. And so we shifted over. And so what I thought I was 6 hours ahead, and I was actually just 5 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so I almost missed it. And so I think when I won it, I was like, I screamed out because I have friends outside. I was like, I think I won. And they were like, yeah. So they started throwing up, having parties and going crazy. Yeah. Me, on the other hand, again, I didn't set it as a goal. Mm. I didn't think I want to be a Grammy award-winning artist. Mm. And so I didn't let that hit me good enough. Mm. So now, 5 years later, I'm still making photo albums and I'm still doing things to kind of memorialize and celebrate that moment. Yeah. Because, it just passed me by too fast. And so, crazy. Yeah. I guess I'm just trying to slow down life. Yeah. You gotta slow it down and just be like,
and something happened after the pandemic where life felt like it's moving a lot faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just since 2022. It just feels like everything is just.
It's probably because pandemic
Really
life
fast.
was probably the speed we supposed to be
Well, it was
living.
supposed to be at.
Like we probably supposed to be at that speed, so
Yeah.
we kind of slowed down and kind of starting to get used to this speed, get used to wearing a suit on top and shorts on the bottom. And then 2020, we couldn't wait to get back to normal, which was really an unhealthy speed. And so now we're like, it's going too fast. But yeah, like I think for me, I just know that I did not stop to smell any roses. I was always trying to figure out what am I supposed to do? How am I here? You get a lot of imposter syndrome and stuff like that. Like, so so now you work. You talking about being black? Well, I'm gospel, so that's like double black.
Double black.
That's double black. When I go to a black music festival, I am the blackest person there. Okay, and nobody cares about you. Just
Not double
go
black.
sit in that corner and wait until we call you up first. So that's super black. And so now I'm working twice as hard in a genre that I'm already kind of left of center of anyway. And then when y'all take me out there to represent my genre, I'm working twice as hard to get half as far on that. So I never felt like I had made it. And so now I'm trying to convince myself that I have.
That you deserve it.
Yeah.
Where is the Grammy? Where'd you put it?
My mama has it.
Oh.
Yeah, she always had it. I visited it a couple times.
Said hello.
I touched it.
Did she Devo the Grammy, or did you willingly give it to her?
Well, no. Well, again, I was in Africa when I won it.
Got you.
And so like they sent it to you a month later. So and they sent it to her because I didn't know where I would be. I didn't want it to just be sitting in LA somewhere. And so I sent it to her. And of course, she has a whole thing. She has most of my awards. I have literally 2 awards in my possession. I have a Dove and a Stellar. And so my plan was to put like if I get a mantle one day, I would just put the Stellar there and then put times however many I've won. Because she's gonna actually
Have all
the Stellars are all over the place. Oh my God. She has like 8. But like I got my uncles took some, aunts took some, sister has one, my bass player got one. It's all over the place.
Wow.
So
Not the bass player.
Got a Stellar, my dude.
everybody got one. Everybody's like, I
man.
deserve that, and they take it, and I'm like, okay, you got it.
Spread the wealth. Share the
I gotta
wealth.
ask you. You did a collaboration with Gary Lee, or you touched on Rascal Flatts earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You did a record with him called was it Never Forget?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to know, how did that collaboration come about? Because y'all sound amazing on that record.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, that's an honor, man. That's crazy. Like that, that's again one of those people that shape you that you don't know if you're ever gonna meet.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I wrote that song. Me and D, we wrote that song. Didn't know what we were gonna do with it. At that time, I actually met Gary at a Dove's.
Okay.
And I guess I was just, we were just talking. I let him hear the song and he loved it. And I was like, go ahead, because it really didn't fit my record.
Yeah.
It didn't fit. I can't remember. I guess People was coming out at that time. It didn't really fit it. So it's like, okay, you got it. You put it on yours. And yeah, man, we worked it out, man. It's a crazy honor. That is a crazy
That's super cool.
honor. I mean, like, I want to do a country album. Y'all want to hear this? Here we go. I set out on a narrow way many years ago, hoping I would find true love along the broken road. I got lost a time or two and wiped my brow and kept pushing through. I couldn't see how every sign pointed straight to you. That's my country album.
You might be on to something, brother. You just might be on to something.
Let me to where you are. Others who broke my heart. They were like northern stars, pointing me on my way into your loving arms. This much I know is true, that God blessed the broken road that led me straight to you.
That's a hit.
That's a hit.
I love that song, man.
We just got a performance
That's a hit.
Listen,
on the We Sound Crazy podcast.
Did I make
did.
Phil cry?
Phil,
Let's see if he crying.
you crying?
Oh, man, that was good.
That was slightly a Louis York Jonathan McReynolds special right
Come
there.
on, hey, listen, I'm gonna look for y'all when I do this country record.
Yeah, man.
Come through.
Actually, I should look it off. All
We
the
actually have a
records.
song for you.
What song? A country song?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, give it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
John.
it's gonna work out. We actually have another song that we haven't used.
We do. But we have ideas for that as well. We'll
Okay.
talk about that.
This is covert operation happening
Right.
Well,
See-
we have an album coming out called Songs with Friends, which is the first volume of several of us doing songs.
How did that
with
song
our
go?
friends.
It was called Weird, right?
It's called Weird.
How'd it go? Weird.
Peace of mind. It was weird. It was called Weird Peace of Mind.
Oh yeah.
All my life and no. I remember the words.
But the does are killing.
Yeah.
The does.
There you go.
But I love it. Like painting the fact that I'm weird.
Yeah.
I feel weird, but God, you give me a weird peace of mind.
Yeah.
Come on, brother. Let's get it done.
I love that.
We sound crazy.
Mount Rushmore music, John.
Mount Rushmore.
All genres.
Ooh.
Well, okay, so so I'm gonna throw out all the main people that I have on my table. I actually made a table where I drew people. I had James Taylor.
Yeah.
I had Bonnie Raitt.
Turn down the lights, turn down the bed, turn down these voices inside my head.
Yes.
I had Sam Cooke.
Darling, you send me. I know you send me.
I had Stevie.
Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand.
John Mayer.
If you wanna roll me, then you gotta roll me all night long.
So that's my personal
I can hear all that in your music.
Yeah,
That's so
yeah.
crazy.
yeah.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, so but only Stevie, maybe James Taylor.
James Taylor's
maybe.
incredible.
Those are only two that I would say could get to a universal Mount Rushmore. But that's tough, man.
That is tough.
Your favorite James Taylor song?
Carolina.
I was just thinking one Carolina in my mind.
Or just well, now why can't I think?
Fire and Rain.
No. Anita covered it too. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Yeah.
Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way you feel. Things are gonna.
All those chords, like all those progressions,
Crazy.
we perfected them. So, they almost sound corny if you just listen to that. But he made those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They introduced the feeling.
yeah. And so
Crazy.
that's when I be thinking of Mount Rushmore. It's not from a consumer perspective. Maybe it's more from just who like added another color to the palette. And so yeah.
That's good.
We sound crazy.
I gotta ask you, what's a song or album on your playlist or on your phone that was surprises? Song or album that was surprises that it's in your phone or something you listen to, like unexpected. Lil Baby, I know, but outside of that,
Probably not. Dang, that's hard. Cause I already divulged the boy band problem that I have.
I'm impressed by that, by the way. That's a nice little
Yeah,
tidbit.
that's a good. That's
Really?
Yeah.
But that whole era though.
Yeah.
So it gets worse. Like, I mean, if you leave it at boy band, it's like, okay, all right, we see that. But then it's like, But Jessica Simpson and Britney Spears is like, you know what I'm saying?
Nah,
like,
man.
you can slide in some of their hits in there too.
I like pop music.
Yes.
He's irresistible, you know, stuff like that.
Wait a minute. This is getting cringe.
I love it.
I love it.
No, that makes them powerful. You know, they weren't the best singers, but they had some songs.
So we play this game called Keep or Kill, where basically it's also just like,
Kill.
you know, keep or pass, same thing, right? Pick the other one. So we started earlier with Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, and you wisely chose Backstreet Boys, I must say. So in the spirit of late 90s, early 2000s pop, Brittany or Christina?
That's really tough. Christina had some great... She's a better singer, maybe over singer in a lot of people's opinions. She's beautiful. I love the song she did with Ricky Martin.
Nobody wants to be. Yeah.
Nobody not to cry.
Deep cut. I forgot about that song.
Yes.
You could change. But
Yo, Jonathan knows pop. He likes pop. This
Pop
is
melodies,
Johnny knows
man.
pop.
Oh,
Johnny knows
Pop
pop.
melodies, man.
This is great.
But it makes so much sense. It
Johnny
makes
knows
so
pop.
much.
So you have to choose one. Brittany or Christina? Keep or
But
kill.
Brittany did have, she had more pop hits. Even if I didn't enjoy her singing them.
Okay. Your personal opinion. Which one you keeping?
So I'm probably keeping. Can I just keep Britney Spears' songs and keep Christina as an artist?
You gotta pick one. You gotta commit.
All right, just give me Britney. I'll sing.
Okay,
I'll sing
give me
along.
Britney.
I'll give.
Ooh,
I'll sing.
Jessica Simpson or Mandy Moore?
Well, Jessica Simpson. So I used to have on repeat. I think I'm loved.
Come on, Jonathan.
So
I did not like that song because it was such a rip of Mariah Carey.
oh yeah, no, it was an absolute steal.
You got the
Yeah,
best of
it
me,
was.
and I just keep. But carry on.
But I mean, what was Mandy Moore's song?
She had
Candy.
Candy. My favorite Mandy Moore song is Crush.
How's that?
How did that go?
I got a crush on you.
No.
I said no.
He said no.
It was a quasi hit.
Quasi hit. John, MTV's TRL or BET's 106 in Park? Keep it kill.
That's hard.
I'm gonna lose my card. But to me, that's easy.
Go.
To me, TRL.
Okay.
And his card over.
TRL was epic.
I got
It was. I mean, yeah.
What you got, Chuck?
Justin Timberlake or Justin Bieber.
Biebs
Biebs is great.
or Timberlake?
Timberlake was extremely. He was almost kind of a pop renaissance, pop version of Renaissance man. So I'm gonna go with Tim.
Okay.
Okay.
But Biebs is good. Biebs is really good.
Yeah. I love Biebs. The Biebs.
TLC or Destiny's Child?
I know the sexy choice is TLC, but I'm gonna go with Destiny's Child.
Really?
Yeah, because we're not talking about like vocally. I feel like
Child.
Destiny's Child wins
course.
easily. You know what I'm saying? And so the songs of the TLC era, I might have been too young for it to like be a part of my soundtrack. Destiny's Child, some of it snuck in. And they even did like a few gospel hit cuts. You know, thank you, Lord, hallelujah. You've been so good to me.
I've been saying I missed the era of R&B records where they always put like a nice little gospel interlude.
Just one, just to let y'all know.
Just to say, just thank you, Lord, in the middle of it.
Dedicated to Andretta Tillman.
You see what I'm saying? Just well, thank you, Lord, interlude.
Brandy or Monica?
I easily choose Brandy, but recently, or maybe a year ago, did they have verses, or maybe
Yeah,
it was
they did.
talking about having the verses. I didn't know how close Monica was. I didn't know how she was hanging punch for
Monica
punch.
got hits.
I know. I didn't realize that because for us singers, especially even kind of after their big prime, I guess. Like we still look at Brandy as as a vocal Bible. You know what I'm saying? So even when she dropped Human, I was in college. It was still kind of the talk of the Chicago music scene. So I got to go
So
with Brandy.
Brandy.
Yeah.
Brandy.
Brand. Who you got, Phil?
Whitney or Mariah?
People be sleep on Mariah and all that she's done. And you almost have to put Mariah like top 5 artists, songwriters,
Agreed.
period.
Agreed.
So Mariah, which is crazy, but Mariah.
It's fair though.
Yeah.
You know, the last person who did Mariah, who between the two, was our friend Tamar Braxton.
Oh, really?
Tamar picked. She picked
Mariah.
Yeah, it was,
Hands down.
Hands down.
Yeah,
Like,
but you have to know a little bit. Like you have to know a little, like a few, like what they call them? Album notes. What do they call those things? Liner notes.
Yeah.
Well, those old things. You got to know a little. You have to, like somebody had to school me.
Yeah.
So I don't blame anybody that says Whitney because she's had a front facing. She got the video. I mean the film. She has Star Spangled Banner. She has all those things that say she is it. But Mariah is like, she has some of that, a lot of that, but also like a huge like under the rug career.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's her by a long shot once you get into all that.
Yeah. She's often forgotten about when it comes to the songwriting.
As a songwriting, as a songwriter, just as a black songwriter, period.
Yes.
She's comparable to
Stevie and Babyface
and Smokey.
Yeah,
For sure.
Fantasia or Jennifer Hudson?
J-Hud from the crib.
That mean
Chicago.
That means I'm indebted. I mean, I'm obligated. Yeah, again, like the straight up singer, the straight up gospel singer appreciates Fantasia and how she emotes and how she does her thing. You know, our answer to her is Leandria, who's our favorite. But Jay, I mean, she's being a star in a lot of ways, and I appreciate that. I appreciate being a multimedia star. I appreciate the Dream Girls. I appreciate the show she has now. Like, so as far as just career, I would rather hers.
Me too.
Me too.
Speaking of the crib, let's go back to Chicago. R. Kelly or Babyface?
Babyface? I feel like that was a trick question.
he almost choked on his graham cracker over here. You know what I'm saying? He's like,
I'm surprised they even let you say that, R. Kelly, on this show.
We say what we want on this show.
R. Kelly, I mean, no. I mean, to be honest, of all the Chicagoans, I was never the biggest R. Kelly fan. Like, you know, I consumed what was on the on the radio. And a lot of it I got into because everybody else was getting into it. It was kind of that was what was happening.
Yeah.
But a lot of his stuff as a kid, again, I was not a kid that thought it was going to be an artist. I'm kind of a nerd, whatever. I thought a lot of his songs were ridiculous. Like, just ridiculous. Boo 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 tee. I just was like, how does he get away with? What is he doing? Is this a joke? Like, that's how I was in 5th, 6th grade. Like, really? Like, this is what we doing? Okay, cool. That y'all like it? All right. And so to kind of make the transition from that in my head to like Babyface is tough. That's a big.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's a big gap of serious art that I can't make. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
makes sense.
It makes perfect sense, actually.
See, I'm losing all my cards.
No.
No.
It's not
It's
about
all right.
cards
Chicago card is gone. Black card is gone. Whatever the R. Kelly card is. I don't have
here.
any.
You don't need that card. You don't need that card.
He don't have a card
You don't have a
anymore.
card. No.
Nelly or Ludacris?
We all had a major Luda phase, and by we all I mean my whole class and everybody. Nelly, we all stayed up late to watch his video. But after that,
Credit card.
outside of that, I got to give it to Luda, man.
I think.
I mean, he
Luda
made
don't
us
get
all
enough-
like Atlanta, and we didn't even know what Atlanta was.
Right.
He don't get enough love, man, for the amount of hits he's had.
Yeah.
And just the whole his whole presence was huge. I feel you on that, Luda.
Nelly was selling them records though.
Yeah.
Nelly was pushing them units for real.
And Nelly, you can argue, shifted hip hop.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
sure.
Y'all might not like that,
No, that's true.
and I don't blame you for not liking that, but like he actually, a lot of what you see, even singing and rapping, a lot of that, the melodic rapping, like
His ear for melody was different for
He
hip hop.
sounded like a deacon.
Yeah.
You sound like a deacon.
am number one. If you like, just sit down and run it. Anyway, so yeah.
But I do think, to your point about Nelly, and even Ludacris, like, they don't get now, like, when it comes to conversations around hip-hop, I don't know if they get their flowers in the way
I don't know
they
why.
should.
Where'd he go?
I don't know.
No, they're touring. I mean,
Yeah.
Nelly's still doing
Nelly-
I mean, like
stadiums.
even like award shows and stuff like that. We'll bring back Nas. We'll bring back
Yeah.
a lot of people.
I kind of feel like we're still stuck in
The
Nas.
in the 90s.
Yeah.
I think everybody's really trying to decide how this rap era is gonna land
What's the 50th
before
anniversary, right?
Yeah,
This year.
50th this year hip hop, 50th celebration.
Well, no, not hip hop, not all hip hop.
Got it.
Not Kendrick Lamar hip hop. He has clear lineage. You know what I'm saying? Not J. Cole. He has clear lineage. But I'm talking about like Quavo hip hop. I'm talking about like Lil Baby hip hop. I think a lot of us are looking to decide where it lands. Is this something that we gonna like, honor, revere? Because if we do, then now you got to go back to a Nelly and be like, hey, bro, thank you for this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if
so
we
good.
don't like it, then we got to look at Soulja Boy and Nelly like, ugh.
That's true.
You see what you did over here?
It's interesting.
Ja Rule, thanks a lot.
But it's selling so much and so prevalent that how can you not?
That don't mean we proud of it. I was at... never mind.
Where were you?
Where were you?
Yeah, where were you?
No, I was just saying, I was at the Grammys. I would say that was pandemic year, so 2020. It was right before we shut down, so everybody was in the building. Rest in peace, Kobe. And I'll just say, an artist got up, and I was sitting with all the trustees. I was sitting with all the people who are part of the Grammy world, really hard, take it seriously and love it and all that other stuff. And an artist got up, and everybody stood up because this is a big artist, big moment of the show. And I really do feel like the feeling in the room was, really? Like, this is what we are standing up for? It was like, yeah. And it was like, oh, this is a jingle. Oh, this is not, we don't want more of this. Like, if this is what it is in a vacuum and this is just a one episode type thing, okay, we'll deal with it. And it's funny, it's great, it's sing along, our kids love it. But if that's how it stays and we get branches off that tree, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And so I do think that just because something is selling well, that's what makes everybody stand up. And give it we're going to stand up and watch this set. But that doesn't mean that it'll go down in history as a great time.
What letter did his name start with?
Honey graham cracker.
Right.
We sound crazy.
I have a semi-serious question for you. Because I feel like it's not often that we get a gospel artist that also has so much pop reach and respect, but you're also, as you said, a nerd, which I respect. I guess the question is, give me a report card on how you feel personally about how gospel music is serving its purpose in the crazy world we live in right now.
What's the purpose?
That's a good question. But I mean, I feel like the way I've always translated the purpose for gospel music as a business is to be a clarion call for a place to come for more peace of mind and to, of course, to find Jesus. But you don't get all that in the song, but you get the welcome, you get the attention grabber that brings you there. So the reason I'm asking the question is I've often looked around me sometimes with judgment and sometimes with just literal curiosity at how effective the religion I was brought up in is handling the world we live in. Mm-hmm. And if we're doing a good job or messing it up, or if the things that we were drilling in our minds stand true, mm-hmm. and what things actually make sense. So I'm always curious to know someone who also has a powerful faith and wears it boldly, how you feel we're doing.
I think first off, it would be really interesting to even go around the room and ask, what do you believe is the purpose of gospel? Because I do think that that's the problem in itself, is that there is no consensus on what gospel or the church or even God should be doing for us. That's the biggest problem, is that's that somebody over there says, well, you know, somebody, God, gospel, or church should be making me feel better physically. And somebody else says, well, it should be making me feel better financially. And somebody else over here saying, well, they should have kept my mama from dying. And somebody else over there says it should be exclusive and have high standards. And somebody else over says it should be inclusive and be open to everybody. So I think that's the issue, is that right now, particularly outside the church, but of course also inside, everybody's deciding what the rubric on the report card should be at all. So it's hard to give it a grade because
there's no agreement to the
there's
rules.
no agreement.
Yeah.
And I think that people are having a tough time understanding that the body of Christ in general is a body. So you can't get mad at your toe for not doing what the kidney does. And so you literally have parts of the body of Christ that should be filtering out pee. Okay? But then you have other parts that are literally just supposed to touch people and pick them up.
Yeah.
And then you have other parts that are supposed to be, you know, I don't know, being loud and screaming.
Defense, too.
You know what I'm saying? And you have skin. It's supposed to. We're just supposed to make it look good. We're supposed to cover it. There's a lot of different parts, and I do believe that people are starting to operate. People are going to operate, because that's just how God built us, in our way. There's something that I can do that even other artists in gospel can't do, and there's a lot of stuff they can do that I certainly can't. But the problem is we hold everybody responsible to all the things. We do that in society, period. Like if I ask you a question about George Floyd, I need you to give me all the answers on every part of it. What to do with cops, what to do with fentanyl, what to do with everything. And so that's the problem, is that I think we're very entitled to everything out of everybody and every moment and every tweet and every song and everything, every interaction. So my life doesn't get to speak louder than one tweet did.
Wow.
And all the stuff that Mike Todd might do, it has to bow at that one viral moment. And all that any other artist, I don't want to start naming a whole bunch of names, but all that we do, it always has to bow at some defining moment that you and your community or you and your friends decided was the defining moment. And so in that way, I can't answer that question. I would say that I'm doing the best I can.
That's fair.
And everybody I know is doing the best they can as they learn what the best is.
That should be good enough.
It should be. Yeah. It's just not, because, again, the world has a very salty attitude towards God first, towards the church second, and therefore any accessory that comes out of the church, which includes gospel music.
And you feel that?
Everywhere.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's like it's a snarkiness. It's a
Yeah.
I bet you ain't.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think that come from? Do you think that's from unrealistic expectations?
Yeah, I mean, it's like maybe it's because people say that this is the microwave generation, and we can get everything we want kind of quickly.
Yeah,
and the idea that God doesn't work like that is frustrating. I went to you and asked you to save my mama, you didn't. Why did you create me like this if you were going to tell me that it was the wrong thing? That's the first problem with God. Or at least what we decide is, you know, the representation of God. So then, now you move to the church, who is just a whole bunch of people trying desperately and obviously not always well to hold up that weird standard of love and holiness and live right. But I mean, even if you don't, there's still an advocate, there's still grace. Oh, but you know, God will hear you. He can, he's able. He might not though, but know that his ways are higher and his thoughts are higher. It's a really tough thing for, first of all, people to accept, and then for us to represent all the time, flawlessly, without angering and offending and neglecting somebody.
Yeah.
And so I just think that it's up to us as a church to kind of, because I mean, even when it comes to music, discussion starts to turn into, well, are we keeping the gospel sound? But we have to be progressive, but let's keep the gospel sound. But we gotta stretch out, and black people aren't all in church anymore like it was a generation or two ago. So we're stretching out, and now we're finding that the people that want to listen to our music may not be black, and so maybe our music doesn't sound as Mahalia as it used to. But now that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many ways to fail and no real ways to get an A.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so
So many ways to fail and no real ways to get an A. That's such a profound perspective from someone who's living it.
It's and so that, you know, we can internalize that. So now we give ourselves black eyes. You know, after white people told black folks that they were nothing for so long, at best 3/5 of a person for so long, you see how self-hating we are.
Yes.
Yeah. That's for
So
sure.
please
Literally
understand
every day.
that, as I said, as a gospel artist, I am the black person amongst black people sometimes. I am, in a lot of ways, a minority even within those places. I be real black. And so the black church is double the self-hate, double the self-criticizing, because we know that somebody's going to find this corny. Somebody's going to find this incomplete. Somebody's going to not be happy with this. If we act cool, somebody's going to say it's not cool enough. If we just act church boy lame, people are going to say that we don't work and we're not relevant and we're not culturally savvy or cool enough or swaggy enough. So I mean, it's just a really weird, dumb tightrope that ultimately is probably there because I'm not sure that the gospel industry was ordained as much as it was allowed. So like,
Whoa.
And so think about it like this, like
He said, whoa.
That's heavy because
That is.
if you're talking about the beginning of this thing, way back, right? Which is the heart of how the music business was formed, right? But the core of it, if it wasn't ordained, meaning that it wasn't really an assignment, it was more allowed.
It wasn't like God's. So think about this, and God does that. He showed us that with Israel. Israel didn't have a king. All they had were judges. All they had, and God was supposed to be the king. Israel said, "Yo, all these other nations around us got kings, and they got armies, and we scared of them. God, please give us a king." God's like, "Y'all don't need a king. I'm your king. All y'all got is spiritual leaders. Listen to them. I'm talking to them. Don't worry about it." And they're like, "No, please give us a king." So he was like, "Okay, you can have a king." And who did they get? They got King Saul. Saul won battles. Saul was anointed. Saul was great, but he also came with some very stark flaws. And so God was like, "Yo, you could have just dealt with me and found trust with me, but you wanted this. I'm going to give it to you. But now you're going to have to deal with that human element of sometimes they follow me and sometimes they don't."
Yeah.
Which is exactly...
And so that's what I think the industry is like. I mean,
it is.
Y'all asked for it. Here you go.
It's the middleman.
Now you got to deal with Phil.
That's deep, man.
That was deep. That was really deep.
That's
Unnecessarily deep.
No, it's good. That's what it's about.
Strong is overrated. You show up like I wish I could. Maybe weakness is for my good.
Overrated.
Yeah.
From the new album, My Truth, from our special guest this week, Jonathan McReynolds. Yo, so I saw the BT Plus movie, Favorite Son, a while ago. And so you on your Denzel, your young, was it little Denzel? What is young Denzel? What do you call yourself again? I want to make sure this is accurate.
I forgot. But I am Denzel, yes. Whatever the prime was, whatever the good stuff was.
How was that experience acting? Like that was your first film, right?
Yeah, it was my first time really acting, period.
Well, you've been acting way before that, but I'm just saying that,
Acting
the fool.
But no, man, it was scary. Like, seriously, like, I don't know how I wear it. And, that's one of the things I've been really trying to come to grips with, is that sometimes how I feel on the inside is not how it looks. I've looked way more confident throughout most of this than I really am. Trust me. Like, and it's not because I'm trying to look more confident. I'm thinking everybody sees that I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But I'm really like, everything's been really new. And I felt like I've been thrown into the deep end every time. First show, or first time singing really, was at New Life, which was this big church in Chicago. And I sang all these services, sold 1,000 CDs that day. Deep end. First time I preached was at Bishop Marvin Winans Church on a Sunday morning. First time I do a film, I'm the lead character, and I'm crying, I'm cussing, I'm fighting, I'm kissing, I'm doing everything. Even other actors who are, Rotimi and other people who are there, they're like, yo, you doing a lot. Like, this is some range as far as acting, especially for your first time. And so it was just another deep end experience. And, luckily, like, the character, me kind of being nervous, worked with it. Mm-hmm. Like, he's kind of a shy, kind of, back in the background type person. Yeah. Because literally, I'd be literally shaking. That's Jonathan McReynolds shaking, not the character. Mm. But it just worked for the character. You know what I'm saying? Cool. And so, yeah, that's God working it out. But so now maybe next time I can do a more confident character. But that, I needed him to be nervous as all get out, because that's what I was. Mm. But it was okay. It turned out really decent. Like okay, I don't suck, and there's something to build on here. You know what I'm saying?
So more acting in the future.
If somebody want to take that chance, sure. I'm down. It was a tough. I didn't know how hard actors work, how long the days are. Yeah. That was crazy. And so yeah, but for the right situation, I would absolutely do it.
Okay.
Your funniest Sunday best moment.
The funniest?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, they were all good. We didn't. You know what? And that's one thing I missed. Which I'm glad I missed it, because I didn't want to be that guy that had to laugh at people. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be that dude. Like no, you're terrible. I didn't want to do that.
Right.
And so I'm glad that they kind of handled that in another way for our seasons. And so by the time they got to us, it was like the top 20, and they were all decent. So I don't remember any like hilarious moments. I mean, there are definitely some people that, there was one guy in particular who I've seen on a lot of different shows. Like he's gone to a lot of different shows. And when he came this one, I recognized him. And he had a certain attitude of altitude. He really thought he was the stuff.
Yeah.
And, me and, y'all can't see it, but me, Kelly, and Eric are constantly doing this. And they're constantly just hitting me in the, because so it wasn't his singing. I think I can't remember, but I feel like he was really decent. But it was the whole attitude that came with it. That was like, bro, like, change gears.
Yeah.
I'm not Diddy. I'm Jonathan. This is not Khaled. This is Kelly Price. Relax.
This is not Khaled,
This is
Kelly.
Jesus. Okay, and he just did not make that turn. He came in competition mode, and it showed.
He lost.
He didn't.
Oh no, he didn't make it. No,
He didn't make it. He didn't make it. He didn't make it.
I know you're currently promoting this My Truth record, which again is an amazing record, but I'm interested in knowing, where does Jonathan McReynolds go musically next? Like, you have an amazing body of work catalog thus far. Like, where do you plan to go next musically, sonically?
Well, you know what? I remember we were talking about finish lines earlier. I'm putting a hard finish line after this tour. And, you know, it's my last record on my rookie deal. And I'm going to reevaluate everything. You know, how much of my life do I want to be an artist, to be in artist mode, and how much do I want other things to happen? And from there, I know that there are a lot of things I want to do. Children's album, maybe a country album, maybe just a very simple hymn type album. Like, there's songs of the church that I grew up on that I would love to share again. And then I have like all these really dope friends. You know, you got Samara Joy out there. You got her. You got...
Will we ever hear the song that you and her? You and her wrote something a while ago.
We did, and maybe.
Okay.
It's not on this record.
Okay.
It being, you know, I gotta admit, it being you know, kind of the end of this deal, of course, I'm never gonna pull punches creatively, message-wise, lyrics-wise, all the other stuff. When it came to other, like, you know, friend collaborations, I'm like, let's just wait. Let's wait for another record. You know what I'm saying? This one, I'm still putting my best foot forward. I'm still being me to the fullest. But some of like those commercial, like, ba-blam, Beaver. You know what I'm saying? Like, ba-blam. I'm like, ba-blam. Like, I'm like, let's just save them. Let's save them for a second. Let's save the Christmas record. Let's save all those recurring things for another contract situation, or if a contract at all. So don't worry, there's a lot to be done. There's a lot to be done. There's a lot of friends to make music with. There's a lot of worlds that I want to travel and see if I can pull into what I'm doing gospel-wise. So yeah, there's a lot. There's still a lot on the table. That's what really keeps me going, is that I'll listen to one random video of 5 guys in Africa singing, and I'm like, man, there's still a lot of music left.
There's a lot of music to do, dude.
Yeah.
There's so much.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's one thing I do love about social media, especially like TikTok now, is just discovering how many people out there are insanely talented.
Yes.
All over the world. I'm like, there's so many sounds I want
Yeah.
to experience and places I want to visit to learn more music. That's the goal.
Yeah, no, so I mean, I still feel like there's a lot to be done. Now, I'll decide what my role is in doing it. Is it executive? Is it artist? Is it songwriter? Is it producer? Is it curator? Is it gatherer? I'll be deciding that in the months after this tour, when it's more me and the Lord and my therapist will decide. But
You want to come work for me? I'll hire you. I like my coffee black, though.
Listen,
Wow.
no. But I do respect you enough to work for you. But
You don't want to schedule my meetings, and you know, like
I wouldn't even be good at it at that part. So
At least he and Missy wouldn't be good.
what you're gonna want is my brain. You're gonna want my creative.
it is.
There's a whole,
genius.
this is
That's what you're
a
gonna
pitch
want.
happening, right? This is important. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. You know, I have great success with a new artist, A&Ring her project, producing and writing on that project, and using my own whatever to help her do her thing. And we're gonna do it again, whether you are part of it or not, Phil. So, hire me.
That was a powerful presentation, I would say.
You make a great coordinator for me.
Wow.
I don't even know what that is.
You're fired.
All right.
We sound crazy.
The Esther Roll
Award.
I can feel him moving, moving.
listening to right now the smooth stylings of Esther Roll, who played Florida Evans on Good Times. That was her gospel album called The Garden of My Mind.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's
They don't sound like her.
no,
It doesn't sound like her speaking voice.
because she's a whole different vibe in the studio, son. You understand? It's a whole different vibe. It's a whole different person in the studio. But Tamone introduced us to this album, Garden of My Mind, several years ago. And so it got us talking about how there's so many things that legendary artists do that don't get the honor and love they deserve. So we decided to name our official We Sound Crazy Award after Esther Roll. It's called the Esther Roll Black Excellence Award.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And every week we get together and we all nominate someone that we think it could be across all genres, just in the arts, right? That we think is amazing but under-celebrated. A black person that is doing amazing things and deserves to be honored by us tonight.
Honored.
So, there's 5 of us here. 5 powerful suggestions I'm looking forward to hearing.
Oh.
Let's go. I'll kick it off.
Kick it.
I saw this amazing woman host the Image Awards a few weeks back. She's an entrepreneur. She's an actress. She's a rapper. She does a lot. Dana Queen Latifah Owens.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Queen Latifah is my recommendation, my nomination, this week for the Esther Roll Black Excellence Award.
Okay. Who wants to go next, Tamone?
I feel like I've nominated this guy before, but
It's pretty good. It's getting good. It's getting good.
I, of course, do my weekly rummage through my vinyl collection, and I just pulled all this man's albums out and just had a Saturday full of all his albums. I'm talking about Peabo Bryson.
Peabo!
Yeah, he's one of the great vocalists that we just don't talk about at all. So
That's actually very true.
All the Disney stuff, all the albums from the 70s and the 80s, like the man has a consistent catalog from like 1974, 5 all the way up to like a good 95. So
Do they have to be alive?
no.
Oh.
So yeah, that's my nomination for this week, Peabo Bryson.
Okay. Well, Chuck and I were recently in London performing with Jessie J, and we were standing backstage waiting to go on, and backstage was this wall full of concert posters of people that had performed at the O2 in the past. And the one I can't get out of my head was Rolls Royce.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's great.
Yeah.
Rolls Royce.
Many hits. When we talk about bands and like, black collectives and, people that made a difference, like, we don't talk about them.
Right.
And I love Rolls Royce, so they're my nomination for the Irby
That's a great one.
this week.
I'd like to nominate Chris Rock. Yeah.
Christopher Rock.
Yeah. He's good. He said what he needed to say in his new
Yeah.
special, I think he said it the right way. I think he waiting to say what he needed to say was great.
Yeah.
So I want to nominate him.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah, he played it so well.
He did. I enjoyed the special, too.
So we'll never have Will Smith on the show.
So it's been decided.
Thanks, Chuck.
No, I love Will.
It's been
I love Will
decided.
too. Shout out to Will Smith.
Yeah, I loved that special. I don't listen to certain comedians for laughs anymore. And I saw a lot of people who were like, he wasn't funny. Ha ha. I didn't. I don't look for ha ha. I'm looking for the art. I'm looking for the
message.
The message.
Yep, that's
and
true.
the fact that he was able to say, as a society, this is how we are selective with our outrage. And then as Will, this was that night, how he was selective with his outrage.
yeah.
I thought that was
Brilliant.
Brilliant. And true.
yeah. I'm going to nominate now. Now, this could be my ignorance talking, so, but I was only introduced to this guy because of Kirk Franklin, because of him using him, on one of his songs. And he was kind of a symbol of old school vocals. And he was kind of hilarious to watch and listen to. And I knew him as an older man. I knew him as what he did vocally and all the gimmicks and the antics post whenever that song came out. But one day I had to really go back and listen to some old Rance Allen.
Rance
Really
Allen.
listen to like
Rance.
when people don't understand because in our head he was presented to us as the quintessential gospel voice,
Yeah.
but he was actually doing rock,
Yeah.
blues, and
Yeah, yeah.
everything else, like almost theater. Like he was killing it.
Yeah.
I mean, and so just the idea that I've heard that he's sometimes credited as kind of the first contemporary gospel artist, but to know how many different musical ideas that he was having to kind of put together to ever present to the church, that feels like what we have to do now. That feels like something that I try to do now. It's like try to take all this from over here and over there and put it together so that it's edible for the church. And the fact that you can listen to his old records and tell what he was listening to and tell what he was working to be. I don't know how successful it was. I didn't look at any stats. I have no clue if anybody heard any of the stats, though, any of the stuff that he was doing. But it was good.
Yeah.
It was good, and he was vocally like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. No gimmicks. Straight up, why are you hitting that note?
Yeah.
5 times. And then going higher.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Rance is the voice.
Rance Allen.
Rance is great. And John, you're the one who actually turned. I didn't even know Rance did rock and pop, like, and R&B before gospel. Like, we were in Dallas, 2019, I think it was. Actually, the day we met with Doe. You remember that day? Like, you were playing in the car and I said, "Yo, who is this?" And it was Rance Allen. I had no idea.
He sounds. I mean, young Rance is a force.
Yeah, facts.
Older Rance was a force and entertaining, but young Rance was like, bro. Like Kalante, Gavin, and all of them.
My Rance bag.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to get back there. Let the music get down in your soul.
I'm gonna check it out for sure.
This is a tough week, right? So just to recap, we got Queen Latifah, Peebo Bryson, Rolls Royce, Chris Rock, and Rance Allen.
This is hard.
Jeez.
So now we're just gonna vote by a show of hands, and whoever has the majority in the end. It's gonna be a hard one though. All right, Phil.
Give it up for the Queen, Queen Latifah.
Show of hands.
That's 3.
Okay.
Peebo Bryson.
Oh, we can vote twice?
Yeah, you can vote as many times as you want.
I would have voted for Queen. Give it 4.
I said 4.
Okay, I was saving.
You gotta say.
You're reserving over here.
You sit here like I'm raising my hand. I'm doing it.
All right, so Peebo Bryson.
2.
Thank you, Peebo. He cleared a song for my film recently.
He was like, "Thanks, peeps."
Rolls Royce.
I gotta admit, I'm not even sure who that is.
I'm going down. Car wash.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wish on a star.
Oh.
Love don't live here anymore.
Wait, car like working at the car wash. And what's the other one you said?
I'm going down. Remember Mary?
I'm going down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I threw a pinky in there.
Is that how many? 4?
Did you vote? For
No, that was pinky.
Okay, that was
Rolls Royce
so it's
was
3. So it's 3.
three.
Okay.
All right, Chris Rock.
3.
Racism.
I like Chris. I need to watch the Netflix.
Oh, you gotta
special.
watch
I
it.
haven't
Oh,
watched
yeah,
it
you
yet.
gotta watch.
And Rance Allen.
So it's a tie between Queen Latifah and Rance Allen.
Jeez.
The Queen.
So now this round you can only vote once.
Okay.
Only vote once.
Queen Latifah. Rance Allen.
Man,
See, the thing is, between the two of them, Queen Latifah gets a lot more accolades than Rance Allen got.
Yeah.
Rance Allen, this week's recipient of the Esther Roll Black Excellence Award.
I'm about to go
Love
back
it.
and do my homework. That's
Man,
awesome.
you gotta listen to him.
Yeah, I'm about to go in.
Vocals crazy.
I'm about to go in.
I'm gonna go to the vinyl store this weekend and see if I can find some albums.
See?
Yeah.
You just taught us something here and we sound crazy.
That's what's up.
It wasn't that bad, was it? It was kind of harmless, right? Easy conversation.
Yeah, no, it was great. I was scared because y'all are like real music theologians.
Theologians.
I mean, he got vinyls.
Right.
He said, I'm going to go see the vinyl. I'm like, nigga, you know, YouTube it.
It's a different experience when you put that needle down on the record. It's a different
Fair.
experience.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all are real. So I thought I was going to be really exposed.
what I learned from you today, a lot of things, what I learned, which gives me a lot of hope about music in general, is that when a couple things you said today reminded me that music gets found. It just gets found. Regardless of all of our genius business schemes and labels and genres and stuff, it just gets found, right? And when he was talking about, like, he was from, like, the LimeWire days where he doesn't really have albums, I'm like, oh, so you can just, like, a lot of times for us, we only receive things when it's presented a certain way through this. And so you miss a lot of stuff. But the fact that you've just been finding music, finding great things, regardless of all the rules, just because you like stuff and whether you call it nerdy or not, it reminds you that, like, you got to just keep putting your music out and doing your thing, because if it's meant to be found, it'll be found by the right people. Maybe 50 years from now, maybe 70. I'm gonna go back and listen to Rance Allen right now, not because Billboard told me to do it, or because it was just because literally that's how word of mouth actually gets your stuff discovered and moving people for generations. So it gives me a lot of hope for what music is in the grand scheme of things. It really is something that's to be discovered at any given time in life. That's dope, man.
It's dope.
This is a crazy conversation.
Man.
You crying?
Nah, my contact.
Oh.
But,
you crying? You crying? Getting choked up here?
But no, man, that's the truth. And that has been an absolute blessing, because from where I come from and, the God that I represent, part of my faith says that this music is going to find people when they need it. And somewhere in the middle of the pandemic, God is Good got a crazy wave. It was never even a single, but it fit, and it was what people needed in that time. And so, that's a beautiful sentiment. And I put even more hot sauce on it because I believe in God.
Hot sauce because I believe in God.
And there you go.
We sound crazy.
Make sure you follow us on all platforms at We Sound Crazy, or even hit us up at wesoundcrazy.com.
Yes.
Thank you to our partners at the National Museum of African American Music here in Nashville, Tennessee, and Visit Music City.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And everybody, please go listen to that amazing record, My
support
Truth.
the music.
My Truth.
Yeah,
Such a solid album from top to bottom.
Is there vinyl for My Truth, though?
That's what I need to know.
I don't know.
A final word from Jonathan. I don't know.
I do have a Jonathan McReynolds record at home.
There is a vinyl out there. It's like a greatest hits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before, but it was like 2 or 3 albums ago.
Yeah.
So it needs to be upgraded, hopefully. But
Let's get updated vinyl.
Well, everyone support Jonathan McReynolds. If you don't know, now you know. And you're always welcome back, man. Come back and talk to us anytime you're in town. If you're in Nashville, you know where to find us.
man, I'm the mascot of Weirdo Workshop.
This is the weirdo.
I am the weirdo.
There we go.
John, close us out. What song you want to take us out with this week?
Give me anything you want.
I say find some rants.
Let's go.
It's only fitting that we do some Rance Allen, some old Rance Allen. Give me, let the music get down in your soul.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Till next week, y'all. We out of here. We sound crazy.
Peace.
Peace.